Welcome to my views and news. Viewers, now when war is over in northern Ethiopia and Eritrean forces have largely withdrawn from Tigray, peace deal is holding. Question is, are Ethiopian and Eritrean governments working towards start of a new era, or are they on collision course? What is the future of Abiy Isaias relations? Are there any signs of start of some efforts for regional integration, formation of some platform like East Africa Community? Isaias Afwerki a few days ago spoke about reactivation of IGAD. He's out of his shell, Isaias Afwerki, visiting countries, Kenya, Saudi Arabia. So what is happening between Ethiopia and Eritrea, between Isaias and Abiy? Well, after closely analyzing the entire situation, it seems that a cautious calm is being seen between the two sides, Ethiopian and Eritrean governments. Both are watching each other very closely. Ethiopian government is monitoring Eritrean government, Isaias Afwerki's activities in two areas. Firstly, Isaias has visited Kenya. He agreed to reactivate IGAD, and he is talking about regional integration. Isaias is training Somalia's military too. Thousands of Somalia's soldiers have returned to Somalia after completion of training. More have been sent to Eritrea. And Isaias' presence in Sudan. Ethiopia is watching Isaias Afwerki's regional reach and recent recent visits in the region very closely. Is Isaias Afwerki ready to give Ethiopia its due role in regional integration? That is what Ethiopia wants to know. And Isaias is playing his cards close to his chest. He has regional agenda. Where does he see Ethiopia in this regional setup? That is what Ethiopia is trying to analyze. Secondly, Ethiopia is concerned about Amhara-Eritrea alliance. Eritrean government has been backing, supporting, arming some Amhara militias last year. Before that, some fighters were trained, Amhara fighters were trained in Eritrea without approval from Ethiopian federal government. So in case of rising of tensions between Amhara political elite and PM Abiy's government, what would be Eritrea's role? How far would Eritrea support Amhara political elite? Second matter of concern for Ethiopia is this growing coordination between Amhara elite and Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean president, Eritrean government. And thirdly, how responsive is Isaias Afwerki's government to Ethiopian desire for bilateral economic integration? Ethiopia wants to sell electricity to Eritrea. Ethiopia wants to use Eritrean ports, and several other issues of bilateral interests have been discussed in the past. But no tangible progress has been made. Thirdly, Ethiopia wants to see how responsive is Isaias Afwerki's government to Ethiopian desire of Ethiopia-Eritrea bilateral economic integration. Ethiopia wants to sell electricity to Eritrea, it wants to use Eritrean ports, etc., etc. Isaias Afwerki's government has not been very responsive lately after the start of war. Though when the two sides signed a peace deal in 2018, it was announced that they would work towards economic integration and economic ties would be strengthened. Nothing has happened. No progress so far. So has Isaias Afwerki's government, is it going to change its mind and renew economic ties with Ethiopia? Or is it going to remain self-reliant without having new rules of engagement with Ethiopia? These three areas are being monitored by Ethiopia very closely. Eritrea, on the other hand, is also watching very closely what Ethiopia is doing. One internal and one external issues are being monitored by Eritrea. Abiy TPLF, Ethiopia TPLF relations are being monitored by Eritrea. So peace deal has been signed, peace deal is holding. But how far is PM Abiy's government going to adjust TPLF at federal level, integrate to? Isaias wanted complete elimination of TPLF as a party. It has not happened. TPLF is being given a major role in Tigray by Ethiopian federal government. Obviously, it won't be well received in Eritrea by Eritrean government. How far will PM Abiy go in adjusting TPLF at federal cabinet? But Isaias Afwerki's government will have to wait. Why? Because interim government is going to be set up in Tigray for almost a year. Then election will be held. So it will take some time to know how far TPLF will be adjusted by federal government. You will have to wait a little. But so far, Ethiopian government is accommodating TPLF. Even opposition parties are not happy with the way TPLF is being given the green light by federal government to form interim government. Sadgavan spoke as well. First area being monitored by Eritrea. Close Ethiopian government TPLF relations will definitely frustrate Eritrean government. Secondly, Ethiopia-US relations, Ethiopia-EU, Ethiopia-West relations. Eritrean government is at Chinese camp, Russian camp. Eritrean economy was put under sanctions by the US, by EU. Eritrean government suffered, definitely. Eritrean people suffered too due to these sanctions. Now, Eritrea wants to ensure curtailed role of US and West in East Africa, in Horn of Africa, in this region. PM Abiy's government, though it criticized US and West last year, it launched No More Movement, accused them of interfering in Ethiopian internal matters. But Ethiopia, US, Ethiopia, EU relations improved lately, last year especially. And now Ethiopia is hoping that it would get some bailout from IMF, World Bank through support from EU, US. That is being monitored very closely by Eritrea. If Ethiopia strengthens its ties with EU, US, it means that Ethiopia-Eritrea relations will suffer. Because Isaias will try his best to kick US out of this region. And he's starting to assert himself by visiting Kenya, by training Somalia's troops, by interfering in Sudan. He is trying to have a regional reach, not a new thing, for years. He's been doing that. But now, when a major adversary, TPLF, is no more a threat to Eritrea, Eritrean president is on a new mission. He wants to ensure that US and West don't have a say in the running of the affairs in this zone, East Africa, Horn of Africa. So both sides are watching each other very closely. In a separate, we can analyze the future of Abiy US, Abiy EU relations. What is going to happen? But leaving that analysis aside, so far we cannot say that Ethiopia and Eritrea are on collision course, or they are making tremendous progress towards formation of some platforms like EAC, East Africa Community. A long way to go, I would say, for Ethiopia and Eritrea to accept each other and to make a new start. So far, both are watching each other. So maybe this 2013 is very crucial, viewers. This year will determine the future course of Ethiopia-Eritrea relations. Thank you for watching.